here we go. So basically, I've divided it into three main topics. So the concept of Juakali, since it's a sort of a local concept, so I'm going to explain it to everyone. And number two, Juakalismart, which is our flagship project, and I've divided it into two. The marketplace and a B2B shop, which I think is interesting to in today's conversation. Then number three, I'm going to talk about Pata cost, which is something we're also working on at the moment, and which obviously I'd like to share with you people. So the concept of Juakalismart, what is the concept of Juakali? What is Juakali and how does it relate to local manufacturing? So Juakali is a Kenyan term. It's been coined from two different words. Jua is sun and Kali is hot. So it basically describes local, small-scale local manufacturers in Kenya who initially used to work in open spaces under the hot sun. And yeah, basically that's how the term came about. They mostly, Juakali producers mostly deal in wood and metal products, which they obviously sell locally within the environments that they work. So Juakalismart, what is Juakalismart? Juakalismart, the marketplace, is an online marketplace where these local manufacturers called Juakali that I've just described are able to sell their products to the general public. So what we realized is that it's a little difficult for Juakali artisans to reach customers beyond those who pass by their shops and maybe through referrals that they get from sales they've already made. So that's why we came up with Juakalismart. It's online, so anyone that is or may be interested in their products, or rather in our products, because now I'm also part of Juakali, in our products can easily get in touch with the sellers and yeah, place an order. Initially, we imagined that customers would probably buy these items online like they do on Amazon and other platforms, but as the way Juakali, the Juakali industry is constructed, it works in such a way that customers really want that personal touch with the sellers, and they want the products really custom made. So it's important for them. The customers feel like it's important to interact directly with the sellers and get them to understand what they really want, what they really need. And at the moment, instead of having a checkout on the marketplace, what we have is an opportunity for the potential customers to contact the seller and to go ahead with their negotiations. So number two, I'm going to talk about our B2B shop. So on one side, we have the marketplace where sellers are and local manufacturers are interacting with potential customers of their products. On the other hand, between the sellers, we have an internal shop, a sort of internal shop. And the reason why we came up with this shop was, number one, so that sellers can sell to each other, like primary products. For example, an item that is used commonly between to manufacture a particular product. So we can have one of the manufacturers specializing in making that particular item. Then they're able to sell to every other manufacturer. So that was part of the main idea. Like, that was the main idea behind setting up the internal shop. But over time, what really took over was the second-hand sale of tools and equipment. So you see that local manufacturers, initially people are really using like hand tools and equipment, but lately with the low cost of power tools and equipment, we've seen people adopting them, and they're upgrading at a very high rate. So what we have is that customers are using the sellers, or rather the manufacturers are using the platform to sort of sell the tools and equipment that they've already used when they're upgrading to buy new ones, and which they feel is serves them better. We are able to do this because the platform, we don't have so many people on the platform, and there's an aspect of general trust between the sellers, even though the buyer still has to meet the seller, most of the time still has to meet the seller in person, test the machine, and actually feel satisfied that it serves their purpose. So the other thing that I'd like to talk about today is partner cost, which is a separate product that we are working on that I feel is really relevant to today's conversation. So partner cost is also made of two words, partner and cost. So partner means get, and cost is English word. So it basically means get cost. And this platform that we are currently working on is supposed to help local manufacturers to actually calculate the costs of their products before they put them up for sale. Because one of the challenges that we are really facing at the moment is fluctuation of prices. For example, just in the past few days, the price of certain products, for example, MDF board, has increased by around 3%. So if you're using, for example, 4 MDFs on a product, that definitely will lead to a significant increase in the cost of production, and that necessitates an increase in the cost of the final product. But you see, the challenge that most of my colleagues have is that it's very difficult to keep up with the cost of these products, and because most of the items are custom made, but you find that sometimes also you've made certain types of products for so long that you feel like you can just easily give a quote for a product without doing the requisite calculations that are required. And this leads to two things: overcharging and undercharging, which obviously nobody likes. And so that's why we're coming up with partner cost. Partner cost was a result of my own experience. So I also have a workshop where we make basically wood products, furniture. We do joinery and upholstery. And in the first few products that I made were actually very close calls between profit and loss, because despite the fact that I was sort of trying to calculate the cost of production, I often found myself going a little bit overboard, ignoring some costs, and at the end of the day, I was finding myself spreading really thin. And so we came up with a very simple concept where we're simply using Excel spreadsheets, and we sort of just were able to adjust the cost of the products as the cost of the raw materials change. And we've used this system for a while, and right now we feel like it would be useful for other producers as well. And so what are the applications for Patacost? So beyond people like myself who have workshops, we are looking at other industries, other local industries like plumbers, for example, and guys doing metal work, for example. We're also looking at people doing things like electrical fittings and the rest. So why is Patacost important? Just as I've already explained, it's very easy to undercharge or overcharge clients, and it's important that every time you're giving a quotation, especially where these quotes really vary, you won't give two different people the same quote today and tomorrow. So it's important to know exactly what you're working on, and manually calculating these prices requires that you get a pen and paper. It takes a lot of time. It's repetitive and sometimes very annoying. That's why we think that Patacost is really important. So with that, thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, James.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? I have a couple, but maybe opening up the floor first.
Yeah, I could jump in. Thanks so much, James. I think the Patacost idea is really interesting, and I wonder. I mean, you and I have spoken already before about sort of an interest in repair and the repair economies and how that relates to local producers. But also, I wondered if there was an element there where Patacost or some sort of similar system could be helpful for repair, because one of the problems that we see is trust in. And yeah, the price setting is a major part of that trust, and it's just difficult, for both parties, seller and buyer. Go on. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely, Ben. The application for Patacost is really wide, and I think that that's one of the things that that's one of the areas. Repair is one of the areas that Patacost will be useful in, because you definitely have to give a quotation at the end of the day for repairing whatever it is you're repairing, and these raw materials have to be bought, and you need to keep up with the prices and all that sort of thing. So I think it's applicable in repair as well.
Brilliant, thank you.
If I have a question around one of the things you said at the beginning, you were describing why there isn't like a payment option on the platform on Juakalismart, and you mentioned that this was because you figured out that there was a need for a personal contact, and I can definitely relate to that because here, so I'm in Denmark, and there's a very big secondhand market, and it's structured through apps. And even though it's a very high trust society, people are still exchanging funds on other tools. I can't remember what the name of the M-Pesa is, the tool that's in Kenya, right? The Danish equivalent of that. So people will pay through that, but they'll contact.
Okay.
But I was wondering, can you tell us like a little bit about how it happened, like that you realized that this was needed? Is it just you thinking through your head, or did you talk to the first customers? Like, how did you do that trial and error? What is needed? Where do I stop the platform?
Basically, when we set up the marketplace, we started in 2016, and we've had a great opportunity to go through phases and to adapt and change. So at some point, we had a checkout system. It's still on the platform, but rarely used. So at some point, we actually ended up just removing it, because when we introduced the option to contact seller, we saw that most buyers were going for that option and not trying to buy online. And the other issue that that we also had was the fulfillment part, because you see, this when someone, it's very difficult to control quality when it comes to items that are sort of very differently. It's very difficult to control quality, and you find that as much as we may work very hard to get reliable sellers and get sellers with very good workmanship, the quality of the product is dependent on so many things. And so it sort of became very difficult to do fulfillment. And so, because unlike IKEA, for example, that packages their products in very small boxes, ours are really bulky. They they come as they are. They don't, we don't like, we don't package it into small boxes. So there's a lot of challenge there. Plus, customers just, there's a culture that there's lack of trust between the customers and the sellers. So it's just easier for everyone to see each other face to face, to get to touch other products that a particular seller has already made that they have on display, and to really get that feeling of workmanship and quality before someone actually commits to buying something. So yeah.
So I would imagine there is a risk of failed delivery that would then challenge the reputation of everyone else. We don't have them on the call now, but I wonder how this relates to the experience of, for example, people at MakerNet in France who did deliver very large quantities with a payment system in the platform, if I remember correctly. So it'd be nice to chat with them at some point.
Okay.
That actually leads me to my second question, then maybe others have some question. I do see time running. What do you, I mean, you're joining the Internet of Production Alliance. Why? What do you hope to get out of that?
So definitely I see a lot of relationship between what we are doing and what Internet of Production Alliance is all about. One of the biggest influence on Juakalismart has been one of the members of Internet of Production Alliance, and she was also my mentor, and really, and through our interaction, the concept of local manufacturing really solidified in my sort of belief system and things that I really want to do. And I feel like that's what Internet of Production Alliance is also all about. So yeah.
Thanks.